about 3 billion books on my TBR, and it's a huge problem. You see, I used to be more of a collector than a reader, and I won't say that I'm not anymore. However, I have definitely died down on the book buying in 2026. The problem is I've been collecting books since I was a teenager, so a lot of the books on my shelf could be super outdated, but I just hadn't got rid of them because I thought I might still be interested. And well, the count of unread books is well into the hundreds. So I have actually made a spinner wheel with every single book on my physical TBR, and I'm going to be using that to pick our June TBR today. If you have never saw my face before, my name is Angie and welcome to my little corner of the internet. A lot of times on this channel I like to challenge myself to push through and read things that I typically wouldn't gravitate towards, and that has led to having an exorbitant amount of books that I may not even be interested in reading, but I have a rule that if I buy it I at least have to give it a chance, which is about 25 to 50% of a book. So I thought, what better way to get the books that I've been avoiding out of the way than to give myself no choice in the matter. So anyway, with that being said, let's get into spinning our wheel and see what 7 books are going to be on our June TBR. If you can see this, it is an absolutely insane amount of books. So let us go ahead and take a spin on this spinner wheel. And clearly I cannot do the directions of the mouse when I'm not looking. So anyway, let's go ahead and spin. And our first book is This Is How You Lose the Time War. So let me go grab it. The first book that we pulled in our TBR game is This Is How You Lose the Time War. This is by Max Gladstone. This was really popular around 2020, even up to like 2022, for people just entering I believe it's like the sci-fi genre, which I'm not a big fan of. That's one of the genres that I really steer clear from. However, everybody talking about this made me really want to read it. Plus, it's short. It's a little bit under 200 pages. So I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because, well, again, I'm not the biggest sci-fi person. But I'm interested to finally tackle this. It says, in the ashes of a dying world, Red finds a letter marked burn before reading. So begins an unlikely correspondence between 2 rival agents in a war that stretches through the vast reaches of time and space. Red belongs to the agency, a post-singularity technotopia. Blue belongs to the garden, a single vast conscious embedded in all organic matter. Their pasts are bloody and their futures mutually exclusive. They have nothing in common save for they're the best and they're alone. Now what began as a battlefield boast grows into a dangerous game. One both red and blue are determined to win, because winning's what you do in war, isn't it? A tour de force collaboration from 2 powerhouse writers that spans the whole of time and space. So it sounds really interesting, but part of me is like, am I even going to be smart enough to understand what's going on? Because I feel like that's my problem with sci-fi too, is like, I don't know. Actually, I have no clue, because with fantasy books, it's easy for me. I can tell you what's going on, I can see what's going on, but with sci-fi, it's like, no, sorry, I cannot picture that. So, yeah. Anyway, this feels like a smarter version of fantasy to me, if that even makes sense, and maybe it's just because I'm not used to the genre, but I am interested to give this a try to see if I will like it. And for our second spin, Penitence. I think that's how you say it, I'm not too for sure. This one is a very wintry vibe, and it is June, so if it's seasonal or holiday themed, I am going to allow myself to re-roll if I want to. So for this one, I am going to just re-roll. The Paris Apartment. I believe this is by Lucy Foley, and I've been putting it off because I haven't really heard any good reviews. I got it when it first came out, and then I just never picked it up because of all the negative reviews I've heard that it's not really thrilling or really mysterious. So, well, here's me going to give it a shot. Like I said, this is really helping me to eliminate the books that I've been putting on the back burner. The next one that we pulled, as you saw, was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. And again, I've been putting it off because it had a lot of bad reviews when it first came out. And I was like, that is not the introduction to Lucy Foley that I want. Have I read a different book by Lucy Foley? I don't know. I don't think so. So yeah, anyway, so this will still probably be my introduction to Lucy Foley. It says, meet the residents of number 12. Jess needs a fresh start. She's broke and alone, and she's left her job under less than ideal circumstances. Her half-brother Ben didn't sound thrilled when she asked if she could crash with him for a bit, but he also didn't say no. And surely everything will look better from Paris. Only when she shows up to find a very nice apartment, could Ben really have afforded this? He's not there. The longer Ben stays missing, the more Jess starts to dig into her brother's situation and the more questions that she has. Ben's neighbors are an eclectic bunch and not particularly friendly. Jess may have come to Paris to escape her past, but it's starting to look like it's Ben's future that's in doubt. Everyone's a neighbor, but everyone's a suspect, and everyone knows something they're not telling us. See you in Paris. So, again, I'm just saying what the review said. They said it wasn't good. However, this sounds really good to me. I love a mystery-esque thriller. I love thrillers more than I love mysteries, but if I go into it knowing I'm not supposed to be expecting something scary, then I typically like it. It's generally when I go in blind and I'm kind of expecting a thriller that I get disappointed when it's only a mystery, but I don't know. Maybe their problem was like it's too long because it's over 300 pages, and a lot of times with like mysteries, thrillers, I feel like they do better when they're shorter. So I don't know. Ready to give it a shot, ready to see if she can withstand the time that she has been on my TBR and secure a spot forever, or will I decide to unhaul it because it's not good? I'm hoping the first option. Okay, and for our third, Looking for Alaska. I don't know much about Looking for Alaska other than it's by John Green, but Alaska is cold, so I'm going to allow myself to re-roll in this scenario. I'm not too for sure if I should or not though. Number 3 again. The Poet Empress. Now this is one that I have more newly added to the TBR. I'm sorry if you couldn't see that, but I'm really excited about getting the Poet Empress. This is one that I'm extremely excited for. I have been wanting to read it since I bought it and then just not made the time. Again, I've been in a reading slump, so that is why, but I just believe this is so beautiful, and I just keep seeing all the raving reviews. I think the end papers are absolutely stunning. It's just a beautiful edition, so if I don't like it, I'm going to be really sad about it. In the waning years of the Azalea dynasty, the emperor is dying, the land is consumed by famine, and poetry magic is lost to all except for the powerful. Wei Yin is desperate. After the 5th death of a sibling, with her family and village on the brink of starvation, she will do anything to save those that she loves. Even offer herself as a concubine to the cruel, desolate heir of the blood-gutted Azalea house. But it's a twist of fate. The inner court stands on the knife edge of a civil war, with Wei now at the center, as the princess chosen. To survive, Wei must harden her heart, rely on her wit, and become dangerous herself, even if it means leaving the art of poetry magic in secret in a world where women are forbidden to read, and wielding the most powerful spell of all, a ballad of death and love. See, that's what I'm talking about. That sounds absolutely amazing, honestly. If I rate this book under a 4-star, I'm going to be completely shocked because this just seems like my cup of tea, like right up my alley. Like I'm so excited for the Poet Empress. So I hope I'm not disappointed, but by the other reviews that I've been seeing, I don't think that I'm going to be. Number 4. Lady Tremaine. Okay, this is another one that I'm really excited about. It's one of the newer ones on my TBR. I love fairy tale retelling, and this is Cinderella, but from the stepmother's POV, and I've been meaning to read it since I've gotten it, and I just haven't made the time. So this is amazing. I'm really happy that I'm getting a good mix of newer and older books on my TBR. That makes for a happy camper. If you know the story of Cinderella, this will make for an interesting read. Cinderella grows up with 2 evil stepsisters and an evil stepmother. Her dad marries somebody thinking that she's going to have a good life. Her dad passes, and then she is kind of left dealing with the family now, and the family is very evil towards her. They make her do all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the chores. One day she meets her fairy godmother and gets an invitation to the ball, and the rest is history. She ends up, you know, moving to the palace, marrying the prince, yada yada yada. That's where the story ends. But in this story, Lady Tremaine is the stepmother, and it's actually Cinderella that is the evil one. She is just trying to secure a future for her daughters and trying to give her daughters the best life possible, but Cinderella just keeps getting in the way, and she is not as nice as she seems. So I think that this will be so fun and so different. So I'm so excited that this will also be going on my June TBR. We are now going to be rolling for number 5. And we have Adrift. This is one that I bought and immediately decided I wasn't interested in anymore. So I'm glad that I'm being kind of forced to pick it up. That is if I stick to my TBR. The goal always is to stick to the TBR, but for the past few months I've been kind of slumpish, so is this really the brightest idea? Probably not. Adrift. This is something that I bought on Amazon. It was like literally like $2 like 2 years ago, and then I bought it and I never had another care in the world about it, which is terrible of me to do, and I'm so glad that I'm not like that anymore. But I used to just buy things because they were on sale and then not give it a second thought. So this was one of those books, and I typically don't like anything that takes place on the water. I have like this huge fear of oceans and stuff, so to read about somebody stranded in the ocean just doesn't sound like it would be my vibe, but this does sound very interesting. So it says, S wakes up alone on a sailboat in the remote Pacific Northwest with no memory of who she is or how she got there. She finds a note, but it's more warning than comfort. Start over, don't make yourself known, don't look back. She doesn't remember anything that's going on, and all she knows is that there's somebody watching her, but she doesn't know where or how, and she doesn't know if she's supposed to just literally start over or try to remember what happened in her past and potentially endanger herself again. I think that sounds really interesting. I think that the amnesia trope is definitely a hit or miss. It really just depends on what occurs, but I think that this will be perfect to read in June. If I'm gonna read any water type stories this summer, I feel like it's the best time to do that. Now we're rolling for number 6. Secrets Never Die. So this is a thriller that I actually won in a Goodreads giveaway several years back that I just never made the time to pick up. That is all I know about it. And back then I didn't really read thrillers. Secrets Never Die. I don't even know if I've ever actually read the synopsis of this book, but it says, the ceremony, the tradition, the dark place. One night a year we bury our secrets. Now they have a life of their own. Every year Sam Hall and his friends hold funerals for their secrets in an abandoned hut in the woods they called the dark place. But this year their secrets are coming back from the dead to terrorize them. Who can they trust? Who is watching them? How much do they know? And how far is somebody willing to go to make sure their secrets never die? I really do love thrillers, but I don't know if this will be the one for me. Sometimes YA thrillers are definitely a hit or miss. I really like anything that Megan Lally writes. She is a very good YA thriller writer. So I'm interested to give this one a chance and see that if I actually like it. Of course, if I don't, I will just give it to somebody that might, or put it in a free little library, because this is an art copy that I won in a Goodreads giveaway, like I mentioned, and you cannot sell ARCs, which most of the books that I end up unhauling I do give away anyway. There's very rare times that I actually resell something. And I believe this is our last spin, so let's go ahead and spin the wheel one more time. Full Moon Rising. Okay. Again, this is another one that I just never found the time to pick up, so I'm glad to have these on my TBR. The final book on my TBR is Full Moon Rising, and this is by Ruby Dixon. She's also the same author of Ice Planet Barbarians. I have read the first one in that series, and I really did like it when I read it, but it was years ago. I'm talking like 6 or 7 years ago. As a Holder's daughter, Aspeth knows the importance of magical artifacts, which is why it's a disaster that her father has gambled all of theirs away. Now that her family is in danger of losing their hold and their heads if anyone finds out the truth, Aspeth decides to do something about it. She'll join the Royal Artifactual Guild and the adventurers who explore ancient underground ruins to retrieve the coveted Arcan items. It's a great plan with one big problem. The guild won't let her train because she's a woman. Aspeth needs a chaperone of some kind. The best way to get around this problem? Marry somebody who will let her become an apprentice. Who better than a surly guild member who requires a favor of his own? He's a minotaur. It's fine. Who is her teacher? Also fine. And he's about to go into a rut, which is where it gets tricky. He also has no idea she's a noble. Oops. And he'll want nothing to do with her if he discovers her real identity. Now Aspeth has to pass the guild test, a title hunter, and save her hold. Oh, and survive a rut with her monstrous, horned husband who might be falling in love with her. It's time to dig deep. Literally. And this is the picture on the cover. I have not read a monster romance in a very long time, so I'm interested to see if I still have the same opinions that I did. But I think these 7 books on my TBR will be a good jumpstart into tackling my physical TBR, and I do think all of them in their own accord sound really interesting, and I can see why that they were on my TBR to begin with. I do think it's so important to rediscover things that you used to think would be your favorite books, or rediscover your TBR if you have a large TBR like myself. Shop the TBR is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I am so thankful and grateful that I was able to even purchase these all in the years that I've been collecting books, and I'm so thankful that I'm finally getting to them. If you stuck around the whole video, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all the things down here. It would really help my channel. And yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, if they were good, if they were bad, or any books that you do recommend. Please feel free to drop them in the comments, and have a wonderful day.